Hi there, and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to continue Volume 6, Episode 6 of my Mirage Scrapbooks. And we're going to start out with a little some pages that maybe should have gone back, but I had them kind of mixed up differently. And that would be, this is definitely when I had brought up earlier a photo that was out of the Mirage songbook. This is the one that's in the book. And I think I kept the other one out to show you, to compare. Of course, I could have had that one more ready. I believed it had been this one, but it is indeed 100% this one that is in the book. And I will say as well that this is most like the Christine one, so it kind of works. We have some photos that I had shown in the past already as favorite photos of mine, some of the first ones that got me started. This is an old page. This is a really old page that I'd done. So one of my earlier ones of stuff that I had at the time, Xerox and stuff, and like having this article is so cool because I, very early into getting foreign articles. Actually, this one, sorry, is not a foreign one. This is, I think, out of a UK magazine though, but still, it was this photo that I hadn't had, and so I was super, super excited to have that. I think I got this on eBay for like $10 at the time for just a one little photo. It's funny, but this I remember like it was yesterday, having this since I was very young. Again, one of the first articles on Fleetwood Mac that I had, like an article, and I think this is just like a 20 things to know about 40 things. So yeah, I've had this. This is mine from 1983, thereabouts, 82, 83, which kills me. And I'm shocked that it hasn't been like even more trimmed down because, again, having carried this around with me for 30 years, something like that, is just, I'm surprised it lasted this well. So there's that. Then this was a page I did actually not that long ago, but since then I had received other photos. So I had received this one that goes with it. One of the greatest outfits Stevie's worn in a picture, but I wish there had been fuller frames of her. I've always assumed that this was like backstage before they were about to take the stage. What was Lindsay with the guitar? And this does look like stuff Stevie would wear on stage. I'm sure Christine's worn that, and definitely Mick's worn this before. So I'm going to guess it's before going on stage. Then somebody sent me this, which, is a total ripoff from Getty Images, but it was really cool. I had never seen it before. But I'm not too proud to have something that I hadn't seen before, so this is really cool. I just love it that it's of Christine and Lindsay, especially later down the road when we had Buckingham McVie. So just really cool. They just seem to share so many great moments. I think they were truly very good friends for each other. So those were those pictures. And then on the back of these ones here, we had, again, some more outtakes that I think, again, I'm pretty sure are Mirage. Now, this one, I've been told that what I got is a copy because I believe that the original one is flipped the opposite direction. That, in fact, somebody had made these up to try and deter copyright, or I don't freaking know. But I think I know somebody who has an original. This is a produced duplicate, as I understood it, is how I bought it. But things happen like that sometimes. Sometimes people just take stuff off the internet, which is why I'm real transparent about that, because I try not to copy or show anything that somebody's probably paid really good money for without either permission or knowledge of who had that or something. But I just try and buy my pictures that I want. So that, again, love that outfit that Stevie's wearing. And I think that comes back to this little one here. It looks like this one here, I think. Like maybe a single moment from that. So Then we have another one. This was received not that long ago. That's why it's kind of just here. And I should have pulled it, I guess, for the other videos. I should have. Even my last video, it would have worked for that one. Again, this is a Jim Shea one. It's got a little bit of damage. And if you can see, it's got some kind of like almost Photoshop or something. I mean, that's artistic. That is editing done to it. It's not the photograph. And I don't know why it's just Christine's face, because I mean, there's nothing on the, oh, there's stuff on Stevie's face. Yeah, there's stuff on everybody's face. But this little one Stevie leg sticking out cracks me up. If you look close, there's just like all sorts of marks. Almost like it's pre-done, like maybe the negative is edited. I don't know how photography works, so I apologize. You know, to print them up again, but why they print this up, and again, this has a stamp on the back, so why the photographer would do that is completely a mystery to me. No pun intended. But it's definitely not photograph damage. It's in the, you know, it's in the photograph, all those little marks. And it's so funny when every time I look at it, I see something different. And, you know, a lot of the stuff is like under the eyes and around the face but I can't see where those edits would work. And I don't get it. But from far away, it's really great. Even a little bit close up, it's kind of hard to tell. Christine, it's where it's most apparent, but I think I got this in a trade from a Lindsay fan. So even in the condition it's in, which, you know, it's seen some better days, I'm still really happy to have it. Especially to kind of see the work in progress like that. But it's pretty finagled. It almost bends right at this part here, and you can see more on the back. But that's okay. Then again, going back to some other photos that I had shown in the video or the one before that, which I still have my little pile here to keep in order, to go back into my book. I think that these go with these, which again, I think ought to have been Tusk, especially because I have some other ones in there from Tusk. But that's these that definitely go. She's wearing the same thing, and Mick looks the same way in these here. Then this is just a little picture that came around. It was on eBay for a while, here and there. I can't remember. I want to say it came from, I don't know if it's another one of Steve's little selfies or what, but it could also be Rock a Little. It's hard to say with the painted nails. This is kind of an earlier page too. So I'm not sure, but it worked for when I made the page, and I'm leaving it at that. But you'll see as evidence on the other side what a complete nightmare this early page was. Which would be proof here, other than there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that are original photos, and then the rest, the 3 in the middle, are all internet grabs at a time when we, you know, I didn't know as much as I do now. I was under the impression this photo is different, but it looks like somebody's just taken her damn arm off. These are back to Richard and Moss, and these were sold again by somebody online who I had mentioned about, who was selling pictures for her brother. So these were Richard and Moss, and definitely from Tusk, because in one of them, or in this one too, you can see that she's wearing a little, on the lapel of some of these, she's wearing like a little Tusk penguin. This is Mirage. These are Mirage. But again, I just made the page early, and then somebody had seen this picture and tried to Photoshop all her name across it, her seller name and stuff like that, and it's a nightmare. It's horrifying up close. So I'm not going to really bring it up there because it's not pretty. But this was again around the time of making my photo albums, and you know, I'm still certainly buying photos. Don't misunderstand, but you know, certainly didn't have the money and wasn't putting out the money that I have since. And you know, so when somebody would send me something, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And now I probably just wouldn't do that because I didn't purchase it. It's not mine to show or mine to take from the internet per se. But at the time when these came out, it was like, they were freaking amazing. I have seen photos since of this from Moss, and I have some of those, but I'm not going to share in the future. It's a long, convoluted story. But these are some of the most beautiful photos of Stevie. And if you're ever able to get your hands on some, I highly advise you to do so. They're really stunning. But this is cool one of Chris here. Definitely wearing some of Stevie stuff, I would say. Shawl. I don't think the boots. I think those are full Christine, but that's so scary. This one of Chris. Then this is just a mix-up collage page that I had done some time ago. If I could own one thing of Stevie's, it would be this, like personally of hers. I'm really weird. I'm not one of those people who buys clothing and such like that, and I'm certainly not picking on anybody who does. It's never been a thing for me. You know, a shawl would be pretty amazing, but even that, I mean, you know, you never have one that, you know, is like the stand back shawl or the Gold Dust Woman. So I mean, you know, those are so never going to happen that, you know, I just don't wish for one. Pretty much, if I could have something from her, I would be gifted a crescent moon, which would be phenomenal. But if I could have a personal item that belonged to Stevie, it would be this little antique overlay thing. And I'm not alone. I know a lot of people who just are nutty for this, but I am stupid for this and tried many, many times in my youth to make something comparable and failed miserably. But it's just like a little 20s, you know, I believe that it's just a little 1920s beaded and sequined dress that she slid up the side. That's just me. There is a name for these though, kind of where they're unsewn on the side, and you do not, almost like a tabard. I don't. That's not the right word, but it's something in that family. But I still think this used to be a dress that she cut up the side, but I could be wrong. And I'd love to know if Margie made it for her or not, or if it's a vintage find. It looks to me like a vintage find. But yeah, I just made a whole, you know, there's tons of pictures of her in this thing, but these all kind of seem to go together, and I love that piece. It's a really cute picture. Then on to more Mirage. These are some really old shots that I got. I mean, I've had these, you know, when I had my original photos, when I thought I was so amazing, you know, and didn't know other people who collected like I did. I just thought these shots that I had were just so cool and special. And of course they are, but it's funny to me to, you know, when you see the kind of stuff that I have now compared to what I used to have, thinking, you know, pretty much it's live shots to me are just kind of run of the mill. I like them, but you know, they're kind of a dime a dozen, especially if you go to multiple shows. There's only 3 photographers that I think make each show of Stevie Current Things or consecutive shows special. And they're all 3 friends, you know, via the internet, people that I've met. And, you know, those people, they remain out of this conversation because they can make it work. They just capture her the right time. And, you know, they're not professionals, but damn it, you would think so. But when you go back and you look at other photographs, like certainly during like Say You Will or something like that, and it just seemed like the same thing over and over because there wasn't really that much costume changes and stuff, and the stage, you know, setup wasn't different, and the venues all kind of looked the same. But you know, before you knew all that, you know, you had some of these shots, and these, I don't think the guy's name is on the. Maybe they are. This was a person I'm pretty sure was selling on the wharf in San Francisco. Yes, I can almost make it out. Hold on, because it's kind of glued down. They lived in San Leandro, California. I'm going to undo it because of course I didn't write it down. Seriously. Steve Brackett, I want to say. Brackett. Brackett, I think is the last name. Now that I've done that, I've ruined it out of the little spot. I apologize. Give me 1 second here. So yeah, now they're all kind of uneven. But yeah, these were pretty crazy good because, you know, again, at the time, you weren't seeing a ton of pictures from these shows. So the ones that you were able to get. And I'm pretty sure these were all by him. probably a good handful of these are as well, I would imagine. I need to write that down because, yep, see, now that thing's completely come undone. So let's see. Oh, Richard, my apologies, Richard Brackett. So I'm going to guess San Leandro. I'm going to guess this was probably Fleetwood Mac in the Bay Area. Probably they went and saw them. And again, finding them on the store on the San Francisco pier, more than likely. I just remember this person had a ton of photos. They were always for sale there. Seems like I made contact with that person, or I called a phone number one time, and the person was on. They were still a photographer and were on like safari or something like that. They were taking pictures abroad, but they were more into nature and stuff. And maybe the phone number was like a parent. Seems like that happened, and that was some years ago. And I don't think I ever spoke with Richard. I think I spoke with his parents because I believed that he was going to get back to me when he came back, and that didn't happen. But I explained, who I was and what I was, and that I'm not psycho by much, but that I was really interested. I was a big collector, had been buying these pictures for years, and she just thought that was phenomenal. And oh God, he's going to want to get in touch with you and talk to you about these and such. And it's fine, especially if somebody is still doing what they love, but just completely in a whole different environment, like nature photos. So I hope he's still out there taking photos, because if he takes photos of nature as well as he took concert photos, he's probably doing really well for himself. So that was pretty awesome. So that is it for this little trip down memory lane of Mirage memory lane. And like I said, in the last couple of videos, I think I might just clear it up in the last one more video for this to not go on so long. Oh, I did also have this one, which is cute, which is just kind of sticking out. This is by Sam Emerson. This is definitely a Mirage tour, and I just forget his name now. Billy Burnett. Wow. It's because I wasn't going to bring it up, but it was just a cute one. And again, it needs to be put somewhere in the books, but it doesn't have a date, but I'm pretty sure that is Mirage era, but that was a cute photo. And that was just kind of amongst my stuff. As was this one actually, which needs to go way back in the books, like from Tusk era. This one came like on a really thick board. And again, I'm sure it's Richard R. Moss. I'm not sure, but I'm sure. And like the ones of Stevie, these were individual shots of Christine, and you just can't get more ethereal Earth Mother Christine than in these photos. Just freaking stunning photos. This might have been another one I'd taken with me. And I'll tell you what, honestly, in hindsight, if I couldn't have had that one signed by Christine that I did, I would have had this one. This is just a beautiful photo of her. And it's funny because she's so not like Stevie Nicks. And even though she's kind of dressed, I mean, even this little thing I think might be Stevie's. But there's just something, she just pulls it off so much on her own. She's still her own individual 70s icon with a look that's leaning more towards what Stevie would wear and such, but it's 100% Christine McVie. Which is why I'm so enamored with this photo. Plus, again, the photographer. So those are just some things that were hanging out at the end. I still had this one out, not put back into my book. So that was it. Again, hope you enjoyed this, and we'll be back, which I think for the final episode, which will be number 7, I think, for this volume 6 next time. So thanks again for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.